Hello everyone. Welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now today's video is about how and why some relationships feel so impactful. Okay, so I get this question so many times, especially in a relationship reading or a general reading, when people are like, I was in a relationship with a particular individual, it didn't work out. And if I also have to say a lot of things about why it didn't work out and why that is not a good relationship according to compatibility, everyone just asks me, like most of the people just ask me that then why did they came into my life and why I feel so connected to them if there's nothing that has to go somewhere, like if they are not meant to be in my life, then why it was so impactful. So that made me think that I should of course find out, some snapshot techniques so that you guys know how to check. It's not actually about the compatibility, but it's how to check that some individual can be very impactful on us and in what ways they can be impactful. Okay, so I have made a particular, just a second, I'll just share my screen. So we have this, I've made a, you know, table in that form where we are going to know how we feel a soul connection with some individuals. See, this could be in a relationship wise, it could be out of a friendship, or just that you get to know someone for a small amount of time, for a good amount of time, however it is. Okay, so first category is soul connection, that how would you know that two people are going to develop soul connection with each other. Okay, the second one is strong romantic and physical attraction. This is generally used more for checking out the compatibility, physical compatibility between two people, or two people who have very good physical compatibility but not that much of emotional compatibility, or their choices don't align, their life patterns don't align, right? You sometimes may come across, or some people, you have seen some people do very well sexually, do have a very good compatibility and can't just live without each other, but they cannot have a marriage or such situation because their sole purposes or maybe their career choices do not align, right? And the third one is the kind of emotional inclination. Although I was only going to write about that, about the emotional attraction, that why someone feels emotionally attracted towards another person and just can't take them, off their mind, right? But then I thought that it would be good if I mention each and every planet's compatibility with moon, so that you know that which one out of them actually create a very good relationship with moon, and which one are the ones who can create actually negative aspects. So that's why I mentioned all the planets with the moon. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, so first one is soul connection. Okay, when a particular individual have similar atmakarkas. Okay, so here what will happen, like suppose a person has, I'm sorry, okay, suppose an individual A has atmakarka in Aquarius, and that's Saturn. Okay, and the person B suppose has atmakarka again Saturn in Aquarius. So if I have atmakarka to be Saturn, that's in the sign of Aquarius, and the other person I'm connecting with also has Saturn in Aquarius, and that's their Atmakarka. So I'm going to connect with them on a soul level. I'm just going to get anything and everything what they are trying to say. I'm going to understand them, because Saturn being the Atmakarka, and that too in the sign of Aquarius, is like a person is very sacrificial, a person is very practical, but also they have to go through some sort of suffering in their life because of the kind of introvert and kind of shy nature they have, and they take a lot of time to connect with someone, or to get close to someone. So since I have this nature, I'm going to connect with a very similar person because they also feel similar, right? So that's kind of soul connection we have because of similar Atmakarkas. This also works if suppose here the person had Saturn in the Aquarius sign, but suppose the other individual also has Atmakarka to be Saturn, but suppose it is in the sign of Scorpio. So some part of the nature is going to be different on the soul purpose, but still both of them are the Atmakarkas of Saturn. Their Saturn is the Atmakarka. That's why both of them are going to be sacrificial, very disciplined, closed off, not very expressive, have gone through some sort of suffering and some sort of distance related problems. Okay, so that's why again they are going to align together. So first point was if you have similar Atmakarkas. Now the second point is one's Atmakarka goes over another one's moon. Now for this you can take an example. Suppose we have a person to have Jupiter as their Atmakarka, and that's in the sign of Capricorn. And the other individual has Moon in the sign of Capricorn. So we know when we'll do the superimposing, this particular individual's Jupiter, which is the Atmakarka, is going to go over there, the other person's Moon. Regardless of if moon is the Atmakarka, moon is the Dharakarka, moon is the Bhatrikarka, moon is the Gnatri whatever Karka it is. But if the Atmakarka of an individual goes over another person's moon, that means they are going to feel very much connected. And of course, we'll come to the moon part, the third category as well. Then you will know how this person finds a direction, finds a wisdom in their life, and gets a lot of teachings in their life. But they feel very impactful relationship with such an individual. Okay, now similarly, if suppose this particular person has their Atmakarka in the sign of Leo, and that's Mars, and suppose this particular person has Moon in the sign of Leo, so their Atmakarka is going to go over this person's Moon. So it goes either way. Okay, suppose if one particular person, like person A, has this, and person B, like their Atmakarka is Jupiter and their moon is in Leo, and person B has Atmakarka in Mars in Leo, and they have moon in the sign of Capricorn. That means both of their Atmakarkas are actually going towards both of their moons. That creates a very strong inclination from both the sides. But if it would be from one end and not from the other end, then the person who is receiving that particular Atmakarka over the moon have more impact emotionally. Okay, why? Because the moon is the person who is here, who is the soft princess or queen here. So moon actually gets the impact of that particular planet. Okay, so they are going to feel that their connection with other particular person is very, soul like or very impactful. Okay, Now, the third one is going to be one's Atmakarka goes over another one's Dharakarka and vice versa. Now, I'm just going to clear this off first. So now, we'll just change the color. Let's take purple. Okay. So now, there's the person A and the person B. Okay. Suppose this person has Sun in the sign of Libra, and this person has Moon in the sign of Libra, and this person has this as the Atmakarka, and they have this as the Dharakarka. So their Atmakarka, the person A's Atmakarka is actually the person B Dharakarka. So they'll go upon each other. So that's also a very soulful connection. They feel very much connected. Let's take one more example. Suppose a person has Atmakarka to be in Leo, and that's suppose Venus. And the other particular individual has Atmakarka, has their Dharakarka in Leo. No, let's take Leo here. In Leo, and that's Saturn. And that's their Dharakarka. Again, their souls will connect on a very different tangent. And they would make natural partners. You know, you see people who just adapt with each other's nature, who just, attract each other's nature. Okay, who are just very comfortable with, who just get into your skin and who are very comfortable with whatever you are, who just understand you on a very different level. Okay, so that's how you can predict it when one particular Atmakarka is actually aligning with the other person's Dharakarka. That's like a natural partnership, right? Now, another one, one's moon goes over other one's sun and vice versa. Okay. I think I have missed one more thing. I'm just going to add it on here. Okay. That would be one's Dharakarka. Let's add it here. One's Dharakarka goes over other one's Dharakarka. This is also one situation. Like, for example, suppose a person, and these things can also be into aspects, but let's not get into that. That is going to go very deep. Like, suppose a person has moon in the sign of Virgo, and that's their Dharakarka. And the other individual has Mercury in the sign of Virgo, and that's their Dharakarka. Again, natural partnership. Okay. It is like, although the kind of partnership is different, the kind of connection is different, but very much aligned. Like, suppose this particular individual, the person A, is going to connect very emotionally with the individual, but is going to be very critical and analytical with their emotions to connect with the partner. Okay, so they are going to have a wife or a husband, a spouse, with whom they are going to connect on a very emotional level, but they are going to be very criticizing also. They are going to be very perfectionist also, so they are going to need all that perfection within that particular relationship. Whereas this particular individual is going to act very youthful. The is going to act very youthful, but again, now, but they'll also be very analytical. I'm sorry, I think my connection is not stable. Let me change it to the, I hope this is working. Yeah. So the other person is going to connect very youthfully. They're going to have a very, friend-like relationship with the individual. They're going to be very experimentative together, but still the critical side, the analytical side is going to be there, and both of them are going to be very service-oriented towards each other. So that's why that's the basically foundation where they're going to align themselves in a partnership. So that's why there's again a soul connection between two people as to how they connect in a relationship, and their nature is going to be very much attracting towards each other in that particular criteria. Okay, so the next one, and which would be the last one out of the soul connections, will be one's moon goes over one's sun. Since sun is the soul and moon is the emotions, or moon is how you react and how you feel about the situation, that's why whenever one's moon goes over another person's sun, then you feel a soul connection with that particular person. And you just, you'll also see if your sun is going towards, like for example, this particular individual has sun in Scorpio, right? And this person has moon in Scorpio. So what will happen when their sun is going to go over this person's moon? They're going to feel that soul connection, but they'll also feel blinded in love. Blinded in, not in love, I would say, but blinded emotionally. They're going to put their all of their trust within that particular individual. Okay, this similar situation would have acted with this example also, where sun was in Libra and moon was in Libra here. Okay, so again, the person feels very much connected. Now, if you take this person's moon over here, then that means the emotions are illuminated for such an individual. So that's why there's a lot of emotional connection and a lot of emotional attraction between two people. Okay, so that's how you see a soul connection between two people, two souls. And that's why you see that people have so impactful relationship that it becomes very hard for them to forget a particular person. Okay, so whenever other, now after learning this, if you get this into your mind that, oh, that I had a particular individual in my life and I feel it very hard to forget that particular person, just check which of these factors was actually there, because something out of these factors is definitely going to be present there. And that's what is going to be your answer. Okay. So now, apart from this, the second category is actually strong physical and romantic relationship. So we know whenever we talk about physical and romantic relationship, it's always Venus we have to consider. Okay. And which particular planets actually create this particular, strong connection? Let's take pink for Venus. Okay. So we know it's Venus, and there are certain planets, when they conjoin Venus, they create a very strong plan, a strong physical attraction, or you can say a strong physical connection and romantic as well. So Venus is the planet. The writing was not that good. So the planets we need to consider after this is Mars, Rahu, and Moon. So I'll just take one example for this. Suppose a person has Venus in the ascendant or anywhere in the chart. Okay. And they have it in the sign of Cancer. So this is the person A. Now this is the person B. Suppose this person has Mars in the sign of Cancer. So when you'll do the superimposing, or when you know that they have their Venus in the sign of Cancer, the other individual, individual B has Mars in the sign of Cancer. Both are aligned with each other, very passionate sexual life. And since it is the sign of Cancer, it's passionate also. It can be a little bit toxic also, because there will be a lot of controlling, lot of emotional controlling, lot of emotional manipulation, that I love you, I'm going to do everything for you, why do you need anyone else in your life, why do you need other friends in your life, just be with me. So there will be a lot of control. So Cancer is the sign of possession. You want to possess that particular individual. So that's why there will be a lot of possession. But one good thing is that they will always be together. They'll just can't live without each other. And the main point is actually physically. Okay, so it could be some sort of toxic relationship as well, but still they have that very fiery connection and attraction towards each other. Okay, and now suppose Venus is in the sign of Cancer only, and now the person has not Mars but Rahu. This is like that you'll just be blinded in love. You'll just be obsessed. The person who has Venus in the sign of Cancer, when Rahu is coming on the top, that means Rahu is going to make you obsessed. So the person A is going to be obsessed by the person B. They are going to feel very hard to forget about person B, although they just had a very one encounter. First of all, whenever a person has Venus in particular sign and the other person's Rahu is in the similar sign, they have a very strong physical connection. And it could be there that they just had a moment at their first date, and that very particular first date and that one tiny moment is actually going to make them go crazy, right? And they are just going to dream about them. They are going to have illusions about them. They are going to find it very hard to forget about them. It's like you're daydreaming about that one moment. Okay, so this happens when Rahu comes over one's Venus, right? So of course the other person's Venus is also going to come over their Rahu. This could also be there, but this is more of a this is not that similar, because here like Rahu is coming on the top. Like suppose I am Venus and Rahu is coming over my head, it is trying to control my head, right? And in the case of B, Venus is coming over my head and Rahu is there. Venus is trying to control the Rahu. It's more of an intelligent position. Why? Because Venus itself is the guru of Rahu. So it might guide him. It will actually guide him, but like a guru. Here, you are asking the student to guide the guru. So they can be a little more messier and they can be a lot more intelligent. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, the last example is with moon. So if a person has Venus in the sign of Cancer and they have moon in the sign of Cancer, then again, a very strong connection, very like needy of love for each other. They'll just feel needy of each other's presence. Okay, because it's moon. What makes you happy? What is your comfort zone? Right? So if moon goes over Venus, it's like now you're getting that happiness, you're getting that motherly nourishment, you're getting that comfort, you're getting that protection from that particular individual. And if Venus goes over, of course, the other person is going to have their person A's Venus over their moon. So that means they'll feel loved, they'll feel pampered, they'll feel on the cloud nine. Okay, so that's how you see the physical connection or the physical attraction. Although, of course, other planets also play some role, but that's about compatibility. Our motive to discuss in this video today is just about why some relationships feel so impactful. So let's not get into each and every planet. It's just these three planets. You see, they are being connected with Venus. That's the reason. Okay. So lastly, the kind of inclination, especially emotionally, that you feel with the other individual, and that's more so based on moon. Okay, now here you might have this question also, that what if two or more planets are coming over one's Venus, then what? So right now we are just talking about one planet. Suppose it's Mars and Saturn both coming together, it will change the story, to be honest. If Rahu and Saturn are coming together over other person's Venus, again a different story. If Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, four of those planets are coming over coming over Venus, a very, very different story. A single planet can do everything then. Of course, since Saturn is coming there, it is going to have a lot of distance and misery within the connection also. So although there will be a good physical connection or good physical attraction, but it is going to get distant. It could lead to ghosting also. But of course, more the planets, more the chaos. Lesser the planets, lesser is the complication. Right? So that's another part that's typically different, but we'll stick to the topic today. So last one is the emotional interaction. Suppose person A has moon in the sign of Taurus. Okay. Other person has, suppose they have Taurus. We did with sun, right? We'll start with sun first. Suppose they have moon in Taurus. Both of them have similar moon, very similar reaction towards situations, very similar decision making. The nakshatra could be different. That's very different. But yes, emotionally they have very similar mindset. But this is not, I would say, similar moon is not the best to have when it's about a marriage. So in compatibility, it doesn't work that much. Okay. Suppose this person has sun in Taurus. We have discussed that if sun goes over a other person's moon, that's a soulful connection, right? They feel that as if their souls connect with each other. So that's a soulful connection. Suppose this person has Jupiter in Taurus. I'll just show you here. If suppose it's, we did, if, okay, so we did for sun, feels dependable and has soul connection. We know we discussed soul connection, and a person feels very dependable also. Suppose a person's sun comes over other person's moon. So we did that the person A has moon in Taurus and the person B has sun in Taurus, and their sun is coming over there, their moon. So that means they're going to feel very dependable, right? They're going to always look up to that particular individual like a guru, like a king, and they're going to get their advices, not I would say advices, but it's just dependability. With sun, a person looks for their pride somewhere. Okay, and of course the emotions are illuminated as well. right? And we did the moon part also. Now Jupiter, with Jupiter a person feels guided and directed. So whenever one individual has Jupiter, suppose it was Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, so the person A is going to feel very directed and very guided because of the person B. The person B is going to guide that person A in certain direction. What kind of direction? That depends on the sign. So it's more so, since it's the sign of Taurus, it's more so about having a good lifestyle, having a good income source, how to have a good, good stability. It could work either way, like for anyone. It's not just about a compatibility or just about a romantic relationship. It could work as two friends, a person, or a teacher and a student, anyone. Okay. After Jupiter, if Rahu comes over one's moon, that's one condition that one person is going to feel that this relationship is very impactful. This particular individual has a lot of impact over me. That's when their Rahu is coming over my moon. I'll feel obsessed. I'll feel intoxicated, emotionally. I'll always keep on thinking about that person. I'll always keep on thinking what they're doing, where they are. I just feel obsessed with that particular person. Okay. Then Venus, like we did in the earlier example also, feels loved and feels intoxicated, like we did in strong romantic and physical attraction. Okay. Easy. Then Mars. See, with Mars, a person is going to feel a lot encouraged, powerful, but irritated. They are going to get easily irritated. Suppose, suppose person A here, suppose person A has their moon in the sign of Leo. Okay. And the person B has Mars in the sign of Leo. So what happens? This particular person, although they are going to feel encouraged, they are going to feel, like a go-getter. Yeah, I'll do this. They're going to feel very powerful, but they are going to get irritated on minute things. And if this particular, condition or placement is afflicted in either of the charts, it is going to worsen the situation. Okay. So with Mars, there's some sort of irritation that is there. Then it's Saturn. I think this is the placement which is not, which is the, of least priority, I would say, or it's not the best at all, because a person will feel the pressure, the heaviness, is going to get irritated and going to feel struggle to connect. So suppose if a person has moon in the sign of Leo and the other individual has Saturn in the sign of Leo. Let's not have Mars, but Saturn. So this particular person is going to feel a lot of pressure. They are going to just feel that whenever I talk to this particular individual, why I get so irritated, why I get so much of pressure. They're always going to be like, they're always going to try to ghost that particular individual, and they're going to be like, I just can't stand this individual. They're going to judge them, they're going to criticize them on one or the other thoughts. So it's like a lot of pressure and a lot of heaviness a person experiences here. Okay. So then we have Mercury. So with Mercury, a person feels youthful. There's friendship, but there's a lot of jealousy and doubt. So you'll see a person, if suppose their moon is in Leo and Mercury is in Leo, so their Mercury is coming over their moon. So emotionally, they'll suddenly become a, overthinker kind of a person, although they'll explore the creative and curious side of theirs, but they will start getting jealous very quickly. If suppose the person B, who has Mercury in Leo, is talking to someone else, they'll get easily jealous. If they are, working with someone else, they'll get jealous. It depends on what kind of relationship you have. If that's a work relationship, that's an emotional relationship, that's a like relationship of two people in a romantic relationship. So that depends on that. Okay. But you'll see that jealousy, you'll see that youthful behavior also, and it could get very indecisive also. Okay. The last one is Ketu over Moon. Again, just like Saturn, one of the not best placements to have. So a person feels emotionally neglected, distant, and again irritated. And a person feels that they have just entered a sort of black hole or a sort of situation from where they just don't know how to come out from. Okay, so that basically takes them into suffering or takes them into sacrificing a lot of things. So this placement is not the best also, and it's definitely not impactful. The impactful one is only Rahu, Venus, Jupiter, Sun. Rest all, I just mentioned it here because I wanted you guys to know that how, because when it comes to Moon, a person wants to know every planet they connect with, right? So as to get a better picture or how the emotional connection is going to be. That's why I just included it there. Okay, so guys, I hope this was helpful, and I hope a lot of you have actually gotten answers to a lot of your questions, because we connect with so many people in a day, right? And some relationships are so impactful that it's very hard to forget them, right? So getting answers to it actually gives our brain that idea that, yeah, this was the reason why it happened. So we have a sort of excuse, you can say, to let ourselves understand that yes, this was the reason, so that why it was the way it was. So it helps you to move on. Or suppose if you are already in a relationship, you are already in a marriage, and or you're looking to get married to someone, you can check out these particular combinations. If they are there and you like the way they are, that's a go for you, that you should go for the relationship ahead, right? So guys, this was my analysis about this topic. I hope this was helpful. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com, and under the consultation section you can book a personal reading for yourself. And if you are learners of astrology and want to have a deeper conversation and discussion about different aspects of your chart, then you can go for the unique readings. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.